Good afternoon, everybody. No, it's not me, LEZ Cards. Actually, that's normally how he opens. But welcome to the Super Smash TV Grand Prix GG Speedruns 3rd Anniversary Edition. I am your host, Prince Leaf, and alongside me once again is Tapatio J. What's going on, Tapatio J?
Hey, what's going on, Leaf? Hey, this is going to be awesome. We're looking at 4 of the best in Super Smash TV runs. We got our boy Brisulph, our world record leader, at a 512, right behind CHX42 at a 520. We got Aquas at a 524 and Oopla at a 525. So we got all our runners within 13 seconds of one another. Any race is anybody's game. We'll see how Mutoid treats them going forward. It should be a good one.
So the rules for this Grand Prix are as follows. For first place, they are going to get 5 points. For second place, they're going to get 3. And for third place, they're going to get 2. And for fourth, they're going to get 1 point. It is going to be a best of 5 format, but if we're running way ahead of schedule, we will push that to a best of 7. The racers, they are the top in the world right now. They are the best of the best, with me being the one exception out of it, but that's not the point. The point is, this is our best lineup we have ever debuted in such an event as this one. So I'm definitely looking forward to a lot of top quality gameplay, some very close finishes, and I cannot wait for this to start. So we're going to go ahead and give them the countdown, and we will go ahead and get started. So Jay, if you want to give some closing thoughts before we get going.
Yeah, sure. I mean, right now, this is going to be very interesting. You would think the initial rooms, obviously, are going to be a little telling. Let's see who gets that first orb drop. It's always interesting. Who's able to maybe connect that with some rockets or some razors. Vitamin R is always going to be important for this. It'll be very interesting, though. It really, this is always going to come down. We've seen so many of these, and especially in the last event that we had in this style, this Grand Prix sort of format. You're gonna see, Mutoid's gonna get his, and we're gonna see potentially some upsets in that room. Really is gonna who gets those spreader drops, who gets the right time on the invulnerability. We have some players that are, if they're given the drops, they will fly through this, so it should be good.
So I have given them the countdown, so we're just waiting for it to catch up with us, and we'll be on our way. So, assuming everybody has already manipulated their razor shields, we should have all 4 of our racers starting out the exact same way. So here we go. We got all 4 going, and it is officially on, as we would say it. So one of the stories up to this point is that we have not had CHX42 in any of these events. So I am actually very happy we could get him into this event. We have missed a top tier runner just not by not having him in any of these events. So I'm just really glad that we can get him into one of these. So everybody getting the same typical strat, starting with a razor shield and clearing out each and every foot soldier as quickly as possible. It's looking like it's a pretty close tie between everybody. Aquas is is the bottom left Brisulph, or is he the one bottom right? Oh, bottom right. Aquas is the one that's a little bit behind everybody, but you also may notice that Aquas is red, unlike every other player who is blue. He is using the two-player strat. He's the only racer. Him and Jackamus Wedge are the only 2, as far as I know, that do such a thing.
Yeah, we've had some folks dabble in 2-player strats. Sometimes, those Mutoid drops, they really make you consider it, but a lot of us are just gonna stick with the 1 player and hope we get that stuff on the left side. Interesting here, we got orb on Bri, we got an orb on CHX. Finally got it Oopla there. Unfortunately, Aqua's the only one who hasn't been able to see it. Finally was able to switch out the grenade for some spreaders and able to keep up decently right there, kind of exiting out at the same time as Oopla as we go into Eat My Shrapnel. If you want to kind of talk about the way you have to play this stage in particular, a little different from the rest.
Okay, so Eat My Shrapnel is kind of a timed room, but you can definitely lose time if you don't execute it properly, but you can't really gain any time compared to if you get the best possible. So what happens in Eat My Shrapnel is there's a set amount of foot soldiers, but what's more important is that there's only 18 shrapnels that spawn in this room. So if you have the orb, you can quickly kill the foot soldiers before all the shrapnel spawn in, but you can only have 4 on the screen maximum total. So anytime there's 4 on the shrapnel, like 4 on the same screen, you're losing time. So you want to quickly get rid of them. Foot soldiers, you'll kill them long before you actually get through those soldiers. So it's typically about 50 seconds, 55, somewhere around there every single time, assuming you have the orb or if you get bailed out by good power-ups. And then when you go into the next room, which is Total Carnage, this is where I'd say the RNG starts to really hit you hard. Like, collect power-ups, you need the orb to spawn, but in Total Carnage, you want rockets, you want spreaders, you especially want a razor shield, just anything that gets any like foot soldiers off the screen as soon as possible. Mostly rockets and the razor shield do that in this room.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, rockets are just a destructive force that are able to clear out an entire line with single shots. So you're able to really keep the kill count up with the rockets. Razor will allow you to establish the center, and that's going to be very important. Oh, unfortunately, we see the dropped orb there for Aquas. That's going to hurt going into the next room. And we got a Taco Bell.
We got to talk about product placement. Taco Bell, product placement, Taco Bell. CHX and Brisulph were actually in there, about 253 for Brisulph, 254 for CHX. Those are some top quality times for the 2 best in the world. So they're definitely the best in the world for a reason. Not too far behind, though, is Aquas and Oopla. Not too far, but that orb being taken away from Aquas has kind of left him a little behind just as far as how much time he's going to lose thanks to DPS loss for not having it. So hopefully he gets that taken care of and gets it back pretty soon.
Yeah, it looks like, getting that razor shield is going to be important. Oopla finally seeing that is able to also combine that with a nuke to be able to...
CHX picks one up as well. So. And a 405 entry for Brisulph, a 408 for CHX. 2 really good times. Very, very good potential to maybe get a world record or a PD. But it's got to be a perfect run. And then here we go with Brisulph, the world record holder, getting a spreader right off the bat with the Mutoid Man. So he did that death on purpose, because when you die in the Mutoid Man, or any room for that matter, you get an invulnerability. And this makes it so that you can do this little spreader exploit, where you want to get the spreader and kind of put the gun inside his like nipple portion of his body. And whenever you're not seeing the spreader like projectiles, because when you shoot them, there's like 3 dots. If you hit them, it's like 3 flame fireballs afterwards. But those are not there. You're doing about maybe 6 times, 9 times damage that you normally would with a spreader. So it's very important, as Brisulph is already on the 3rd to last form, and now he's on the penultimate form, the 2nd to last form. So he is absolutely crushing the Mutoid Man with that. And I don't think anybody, well, as I said, that Oopla is doing that right now on his side.
We get a nice spreader on Aquas' side, able to use that second player spawn to be able to get in there. Unfortunately, gets a little sabotaged right there. It has to go to Lobbers. Lobbers actually being what was originally kind of the most useful weapon until that spreader manipulation was found. We got final form on Oopla's side. Bri is still working through it. Should have it done pretty close, but takes a death right there. Goes to the vulnerability. That's gonna be brutal. Spreader, unfortunately, on Oopla's side, so not very strong weapon. This is gonna be very. Is this spreader
gonna do? Nope. It looks like Brisulph's gonna take it, but Oopla is not gonna be very far behind.
Not at all.
Spreader's not gonna do it, but he's gonna need another power up. That grenades probably should do it for him. He can't be that far. Oh, only like 5 shots, man. That's brutal. But he's gonna get 2nd place, it looks like. Oh, and it's a close race between CHX and Aquas, and it looks like CHX is gonna do it for 3rd place. But, ooh, that was a tight race between these 4. So you can just wait for Aquas to get finished up, and we'll get the official times from racetime.gg.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brisulph able to get that early spreader, that really kind of set the pace there. But nice little come up. I mean, that got very interesting toward the end. Quite a few folks on the final form at the same time there. It really comes down to are they able to utilize, the lobber drop. It seemed like people almost getting it there, but then you got to get like one more weapon. We saw the spreader having to be used right there. That's an unfortunate one. You want to see the spreader for every other form of Mutoid until that last one. We saw some rockets in there. Able to get it together, and some pretty impressive times across the board right there. Everybody finishing sub 6:30. Very nicely done.
So I'm going to go ahead and get the room reset, but the official times are 5:56 for Brisulph, 6:07 for Oopla, 6:16 for CHX42, and 6:26 for Aquas. So 5 points for Brisulph, 3 for Oopla, 2 for CHX, and 1 for Aquas.
So going into the second race right there, I think you got to feel pretty good, no matter, you know, even if you didn't finish in quite the placing like Aquas did right there. Was able to keep it pretty close to having dropped the orb right there. So that one for Aquas, it's gonna hurt initially, but I could see that flipping pretty easily between any of these runners. Like I was saying before, I think any of these races is anybody's to take. It's really just going to come down to, a little bit of that orb maintain, a little bit better, I think, for Aquas. That will help keep it even closer. And then, just making sure you're able to take the advantage. Was able to take advantage there, having that 2-player spawn. I did get the spreader there. So let's see if that continues for Aquas in Mutoid Man.
Yeah, I don't think that CHX actually got a spreader during that Mutoid Man, so that definitely makes a difference, because he was second, and he wasn't that far behind Brisulph when he entered that room. So So we're going to try to do this as quickly as possible. So I got our 4 racers already ready. So I'm going to go ahead and count them in, and we'll go ahead and get going with round number 2.
And one interesting thing of note, as was mentioned before, all our competitors are going to be essentially what we call setting up the Razor Shield for the first drop to start this run. It's pretty much the only thing we could really predetermine as far as the run's concerned. Otherwise, you're just kind of throwing into the wind. You're really hoping these drops and everything works out for you. The Razor Shield just being able to just be a nice little room control weapon, and this first room doesn't give you the opportunity to get an orb or anything like that. So it ends up being the best call.
Yeah, in the first room, you can't get rockets, you can't get spreaders, you can't get orbs. The only thing you can really get is grenade, invulnerability, speed upgrade, and Razor Shield. So the Razor Shield is definitely the one you want to have, and whenever we start the game and you don't do the manipulation, it could be one of those, and they're all time losses except for the Razor Shield. So here we are in round number 2, and just as expected, everybody had... Oh, I forgot Invulnerability Shield. As expected, we got all of our racers doing the manipulation, and it's going to look like that CHX is going to be taking the kill shot on this one at a very high 38, and Brisulph not too far behind, and neither is Oopla.
See, we got first drop orb for Bri, and actually we got the orb already on Aquas' side as well. Our other 2 runners working with the Razor Shield, working the rockets, working with spreaders here. So nice little early advantage for 2 of our runners. Rockets for Aquas, really going to be decimating these lines. Might be able to get out of this room pretty early. Looks like Bri first, CHX, and actually the rest, all other 3 besides Bri, everybody out there maybe a second later. That was crazy.
Yeah, Bri had a 117 getting out of that room, and as LZ Cart's going to say, that is dynamite. And he's also getting favored with rockets and all that stuff. They'll quickly get him, under control in this room. I mean, it's kind of easy to keep control when you have the orb, but rockets just kind of make that a little easier. If you don't have the orb, you kind of want the rockets to appear and eat my shrapnel just so you can get control of the room. So as you're seeing with CHX, he's trying to work with what he gets, and he, for the most part, looks like he has everything under control. He's just waiting for that orb to maybe come up and give him a little boost for the next room, because after this room, that's when you start losing time. So everybody, CHX is still right there with everybody, but it is a dead heat right now. A very close race. Bri's got it by like maybe a second right now.
And that's unfortunate. CHX gets whacked right there. Is going to be able to use the invulnerability and then that smart bomb to be able to clear this up a little bit. But yeah, it's really going to be hunting for those items. We got orbs for everybody else. I see a lot of orbs, a lot of rockets. So keeping that center, you're going to see that from these top runners here. It's really keeping this center is very important. You don't want to go too far out of your way for any item, even if it's something really good. You got to really kind of time that out, because keeping the center, you're going to keep your firing lanes up, you're going to keep your kill count up, and that's just going to get you through this room fast. As soon as you start kind of getting out of center, wiggling around a little too much, that's when the foot soldiers start to get a little wide, your lanes start getting a little sloppy, and you start to really slip time kind of subtly. Sometimes they'll just kind of sneak up on you. All of a sudden, you lost a bunch of time.
So we got a 250 entry for Brisulph and a 252 entry for Aquas. They are neck and neck, and we are just gonna briefly get a Taco Bell product placement. So Taco Bell product placement, Taco Bell. Ugh. And Brisulph's out. He's hoping for a rockets on the feet or something to quickly get rid of these soldiers. A smart bomb is not a bad option in this room. I mean, it helps you get control, so you can maybe get rid of those gun turrets. The gun turrets are kind of chaotic sometimes because they're so shot patterns are kind of random, but in order to keep the middle, you got to get rid of them as quickly as you can. And Brisulph just now gets blessed with the razor shield, so he's going to have very good control. This is definitely a world record pace for him right now. He is the best in the world to the 250 coming in here. Well, bonus room, but yeah, he's definitely on pace for a very good run right now.
Definitely flying. Use that smart bomb very well. Seeing CHX actually doing some nice dancing right there. Wasn't able to get as good an early drop, but was able to make it work. Got both the gunners off. Oopla, yeah, unfortunately, haven't, I think, dropped that orb early, but it's still getting it done. And we already see an entry into Mutoid Man for Brisulph.
A 401 entry for Brisulph, a 408 entry for Aquas. These are two very top-tier times right now. Just hoping for spreader luck, and he's going to try to do the ball buster. It looks like Brisulph missed the ball buster, unfortunately. Looks like Aquas missed the ball buster as well. So the CHX has the opportunity to do the ball buster. He might actually make up a little bit of time that he's lost up to this point with just getting the ball buster. It takes about a third of a form away. If you can maybe line up the and he gets it. So when you line up the orb with sort of the neck area where like all the sprites kind of meet up, like the head, the body, and the shoulders, like if you mix it up with that, it actually kind of gets stuck, and you know you hit the ball buster when it doesn't show the orb going off screen like that. So CHX actually closed a little bit of a gap in between him and Brisulph right now. And we got three racers that are on one arm. Brisulph's on like pop a rib cage right now.
Popped the rib cage, got the lobber, doing very nice right there. But yeah, everybody else with 2-arm pop. Oh, actually, never mind. Oopla still need to get that popped right there. Very close.
Look at that in voter. He got a very not too shabby placement for that spreader. So he got a lot of transfer damage on that one. He's going to easily get a sub 6 run on. That is amazing. That wasn't quite the fastest final form that he had, but he got enough transfer damage to make it a cinch to get through that. He's going to take this lead of 540. That is a very, very top-notch time to have for a race.
Yeah, just beautiful work with the spreader right there. Got out of there as soon as it wasn't necessary. Got a huge amount of transfer damage. Like that, I was not expecting Mutoid Man to die still off of that spreader, but there you go. Very nicely done by Prix.
Very nicely done. CHX is going to get second place. Just barely misses the sub 6, but he's going to get a 609. It's a very good time for a race. These are all very good times. This is a very, very good skill group we got here. So we got a 620 for Aquas, and Oopla is just going to play it out and see what happens at this point. I hope that he'll get some good luck so he can maybe push it underneath 7 minutes. This happens typically on Mutoid Man. Like, you have a good pace, because all of these racers had like a 420 or lower pace. Like, this was just unfortunate for Oopla. Like, he just didn't get the spreaders, and he just didn't get the drops. Just this happens. So unfortunately, Oopla is going to take 4th place. But we'll hope that next time around he gets a little bit of a better luck from Mutoid Man. And there we go. He's going to finish it. I think he's going to just miss sub 7 at this point. That might be a 703, 704. Yeah, a 704. According to the time on that is.
Yeah, low 6 minute. I mean, is probably like what I think most of these guys would accept as just a fine. You know, we're talking about a single run, no reset, that sort of thing. So things are bound to happen. You're gonna have some rough runs in there, but there has been some beautiful work with some early drops done by our runners, and yeah, Prix obviously getting that first drop or not losing it whatsoever. Really, just being able to maintain that entire run. looking pretty good with the 10 points there. CHX has to be feeling pretty good with that second place to kind of pull it up a little bit more, have that 5-point total. Aquas getting the 2 points right there to pull to a 3, and Oopla getting the 1 point in that one to make it 4. What's going to be interesting here is going to be, you know, what's going to happen. We'll see how close Bri, and Bri's very good at doing this. You know, just a single pea shooter when the drops are really dry early on. We'll see how much of a distance is going to be able to be gained. But right now, Bri's getting into the bonus room at, you know, low to mid 250s, and just really doing good work as far as the tank trouble, and yeah, utilizing the spreader, doing a real good job on that with Mutoid Man. So it's going to be tough. It's tough to keep up when Bri or any of these guys really are really on, and they're getting the drops, and they're really honed in on getting their shots. All
right,
so they get stuck 6 times. It's crazy.
So the official rundown for that one, we had Brisulph at 5:42. I think it was a 5:40 on their time, but who we judging by? We're going by the racetime.gg time. So at 5:42 for Brisulph, a 6:11 for CHX42, a 6:20 for Aquas, and a 7:06 for Oopla. So Brisulph's going to get the 5, CHX is going to get the 3, Aquas is going to get the 2, and Oopla is going to get the 1. So that leaves us at a score of 10 for Bri, 5 for CHX, 4 for Oopla, and 3 for Aquas.
All right, so we've got a little bit of a feeling out process. We're in game number 3 right now, 5, potentially 7. Brisulph looking pretty good with a couple straight wins. What are you thinking for our third race right here? We're at the midway point, essentially, if we just do the 5. Who do you see coming out on top on this next one?
I mean, I've been catching CHX42 a lot lately playing his Smash TV run, so I know he's definitely capable of putting Brisulph away here. So I think that this is going to be his game here. I think Brisulph will fall to at least 3, maybe with the upset of Oopla being second and Aquas being unfortunately 4th by my diagnostics there. So I'm unfortunate, but I definitely could see any of these racers being first place, though. These are not like slouches. They are the best in the world. They're top 5. I mean, Oopla is number 6, but like these are top 5 because 40 Watts kind of retired at this point. So, but I like underdog stories. So anytime Oopla can get first place, though, that's a wonderful thing in my opinion. Oopla was our rookie of the year for the previous tournament, with Aquas being a very close a very close runner-up for that. But as far as most improved since the tournament, it's definitely Aquas, who he has featured in several events up to this point. He has PB'd in all of them. So he's definitely become a veteran. He definitely is very skillful at this game. He also won the Battle Royale that we just ran not too long ago also.
The early drops, who gets it? Oopla getting that early orb. That's going to be very nice. Ooh, Bri getting, I think, some grenades on the feet and vulnerability there too. Having to work through it, some shoes. So the drop's not there. CHX getting that orb. Everybody else with the orb now. So the fate's kind of switching around here. Bri doesn't get that early orb. It's now having to work through. It's going to be able to use these rockets, though, to a pretty good effect and not really lose too much time. But wants to see that orb here.
For once, the RNG not favoring the favorites as Brisulph. I mean, he gets rockets, but he's going to work with what he has, but still no orb. So he's going to be hemorrhaging time if he doesn't get that very soon. So he's just getting a lot of rockets. Just he's getting a lot of drops, though.
Did a great job, honestly. That rocket clip lasted quite a while, so he's able to chain and kind of maintain that kind of damage for a bit, and he'll be able to utilize that for probably about the rest of this room, it looks like. But yeah, after this room, he's got to see that orb, otherwise the time's going to start slipping. It's going to be in power ups or in total carnage here.
Looks like we got CHX in the lead, but not too far behind as everybody else, with Brisulph being a little more behind than everybody else. So still no orb, so he's definitely going to start losing a lot of time here if he doesn't get it. But he's going to be super aggressive with that Razor Shield that he just picked up. Oh, and there's the orb. So now it is pretty much evened out for everybody, and they all got Razor Shields. This is crazy. Everybody's got
the orb.
Everybody's got orb. Everybody's got razors. This is crazy, and that power up for Oopla, I think, is unfortunately too tall. Oh, he actually got it. See, the way the razor shield works is it actually makes it so you can't get go hug the wall or anything, because the razor shield's still got to go around you. So on Bry's side, he actually had a spreader that was too low to the screen, and he couldn't get it with the razor shield, so he unfortunately had to let it pass. And CHX with a 254 going into the bonus room. This is a very top tier time, and we're going to be saying that a lot. These are the best racers, obviously. And again, third time's the charm. I think I'm going to let you do this one, though, Taptio J.
Oh, Taco Bell. Product placement with Taco Bell.
And it looks like CHX also has rockets coming out of it, but he also lost his orb. I didn't even see that part, but definitely going to be able to start this room off with a bang, and quite literally, he gets a nuke on the feet. So now he's going to need to get an orb replacement so he can make up the time, or just get some good power-ups. Like, you really want rockets in this room. The specifics for this room in general, the spawn rate is so high. Like, it is the equivalent of a level Arena 3 room that has the respawn rate at like the max amount. So this room is actually tougher than all the other rooms up to this point, and it's hard to keep control of the middle if you don't have an orb or razor shield.
Aquas with some crazy dancing right there, was able to chain that in, finally get the rockets. The gunners were up for quite a while. Looks like that's going to work out as well. Bry able to get some rockets after having an invulnerability and the razor shield, so it's super fast in clearing that out. And actually ends up taking the lead just by a bit here. CHX ends up losing the orb as well. So we got a couple orbless players right now, and a couple going in with the orb. Let's see if we get some ball busters here.
Yeah, so we got a lead change, obviously, with Brisulph being in first place now. He went from last to fourth in one room, so that's definitely what happens in typical tank trouble. It looks like CHX has a spreader. Can he get it? Yes, he does. So he's gonna. Oh, and it looks like Bry also has a spreader on his side. He did for a little bit.
Fortunately, he gets run over right there and has to take the invulnerability. That's not what he wanted to see. Unfortunately, wasn't able to peel off with the spreader and be able to use that invulnerability to the best effect. Looks like
CHX trying to do some manuals right now. He needs an invulnerability to maybe spawn in, but I think it's going to be a little too late. So maybe a key. Yeah, key is definitely what you don't want to see in an easy percent run. So to kind of go with that, there's actually 3 arenas, but when you play easy, you don't actually get to play the other 2. But the key is for a pleasure dome, which is present in Arena 3. So since we don't get to that, keys are absolutely useless and a total dead drop in this run. So we don't want those.
We got cracked ribs for
another spreader. CHX getting another spreader.
There we go. And it looks like crack ribs for everybody. Head pop. It looks like a manual is going to have to go for Bry. CHX ends up taking the death, getting run over right there. Not going to be able to get the lob. It looks like, yeah, final form. Bry's able to get to that. Gets the grenades as well. Is going to be able to keep the damage up. But empty drop right there.
CHX getting a spreader when he doesn't need it, because the final form, you can no longer do the exploit. So he's just going to try to hit as many as he can. Hopefully he can catch up to Bry. It looks like it's not going to be in time. Brisulph's going to win another race. It's not very too far behind for CHX or right now Aquas.
Yeah, right there. The spreader. Wow, actually, they're very close. I didn't quite catch who got the lead right there. Able to clear it up. Spreader was able to finish off for Aquas. Lobber for CHX. It looks like just by that, slightly to Aquas having to go down to CHX right there. CHX taking second place. Oopla within 10 seconds of that. Incredible. Everybody below 630 right there, between a 6 minute and 630. Very, very close right there.
Draft.
Let's see the official.
Okay, we have our first tie of the game. But from what it looked like on our screen that we saw, it looked like CHX had left before Aquas. But we are going by racetime.gg times right now. So unfortunately, we are going to have to go to the extra rules, which I specifically put in place for in case this happened. So we are not going to replay because we don't have time to do that. So instead, we are just going to award Aquas and CHX 3 points, and we're going to give Oopla 2 points and go with that. So we cannot do a replay. We don't have time to do it. So we're just going to go ahead and give them all the placement that they would have gotten. So at this point, Aquas and CHX both got second, and Oopla got third. or he get fourth, but we're just going to give him 2 points.
So it has been dealt with and written, and it shall be done. So right now, after 3 straight W's, very nice, like right there from Brisulph, having to come back in tank trouble right there, was definitely a little bit behind going through the bonus room, was able to come back very nicely and take that win with some really nice manual spreader work right there. CHX and Aquas, so close right there. Both are going to be taking that second with another 3 points for them. CHX at 8 total now. Aquas is 6. And Oopla taking the 2 points right there will also be at 6 points. Not quite Bry. Close though. Very close. It is quite a substantial lead right here. Bry will almost have this clinched actually. Unless he is to take 2 fourth places and CHX is to take 2 wins. That will be the difference right there. But still a lot between the 3 other runners. We're going to see who shakes out to the second place as well, but everything's still up in the air very much. But quite impressive. I mean, that was a hell of a run right there by Bry, able to deal with not seeing that orb early, and then once it pops up there in Total Carnage, just rolling with it. Everybody having that razor with the orb, getting some rockets. There was some muddle there in tank trouble, though. There was definitely some tricky drops. I know I saw a couple stretches trying to get to some rocket drops that were just in very tough places for our runners. So, as much as we like to bring up Mutoid Man and the RNG around dealing with him, tank trouble is just as much of a kind of room to define how well you're going to do. Pretty pivotal room right there, I would say. Almost as much as the Mutoid Man fight.
Yeah, we had a little bit of an issue. I wasn't ready to start the race. I never joined the room, so when everybody just kind of started, I didn't know they were going. So I hope they weren't already starting on our feed. Okay. Looks like everything's good. So, yeah, again, we have Brisulph at 15 points, CHX42 at 8, Aquas at 6, and Oopla at 6. So right now, Brisulph is pretty much clinched to be first place or second place right now. But CHX, assuming Brisulph doesn't get second place or first place, can still take the lead after 5 games. So this is a very crucial game 4 for Brisulph.
I know you brought up in the previous race seeing CHX potentially take one. I'm thinking Aquas as well. I think Aquas is definitely starting to come up. We saw that awesome Act Razor run earlier from Aquas. Maybe has shaken off that gameplay, has gone into the Super Smash TV zone, and I think Aquas might take a dub here in this next race. Everybody getting squared up.
Now, now everybody's set up. We're all ready to go. So we are counting them down, and they're going to get started here shortly.
Now, as kind of one of the top runners yourself here, Princely, I've got a question for you. So if you're in a situation like if say you were in CHX's spot right now, you kind of know that you pretty much have to nail down first to have any opportunity to take the overall standing on it. Is there anything you're looking toward, maybe as far as like changes you make to gameplay? I mean, sometimes like maybe you're going for like rotations of items or something like that, and it's maybe gotten you caught, or sir, is there anything you would ever really change about your gameplay going through like a tournament format or like Grand Prix format like this, to where if it's not really working, that you feel like you could adjust going down the line?
Well, obviously you can't manipulate RNG all the time, just the Razor Shield, but I think that we'd be a little more aggressive with the Razor Shields when you get them. So basically, you use the Razor Shield to kind of keep the middle, but I would do... well, hence why CHX now has an orb, but when you get the Razor Shield, you're basically just kind of holding the middle. I would go more aggressive with the Razor Shield and try to keep your kill count up as much as possible. So if you get like a big swarm of enemies that come out of a door, like what CHX has on the right side when he had just now, take the Razor Shield and just erase every single one of them, because you could always get another Razor Shield by the end of the room. Like collect power-ups is one. You can get them in Total Carnage and Tank Trouble. So I would just be aggressive, because aggressive is gonna, if you play your cards right, you will be rewarded by getting a low time. So these 250s and stuff that Brisulph usually gets out of Total Carnage, that's because he plays the Razor Shield very aggressive. Even in like Tank Trouble, try to keep the kill count of the foot soldiers as much as possible up, so that you take away, like, because whenever you shoot the turrets, you're not really killing anything, so therefore you're wasting time for foot soldiers not spawning out the doors. So,
and some interesting strat right there. We saw watching. It looks like CHX actually with a little bit of a lead there on Bri, but Bri ended up getting a grenade that was not on the feet. Ended up going out of his way to actually grab it, and that's just kind of on that item rotation. You're trying to spawn another power up, trying to get those rockets going to the next room, so you can establish a nice early lead there. So that's what you saw right there. Grenades usually something none of these runners really want to see until maybe Mutoid Man, just to be able to do some kind of damage, right?
Yeah, it's mostly because the grenade is such a short distance of compared to like your pea shooter. Like you get 2 projectiles with the pea shooter, but you get the entirety of the arena, whereas the grenades, they're just kind of a couple feet right in front of you. So you don't want to really see. Remember what I was explaining about the Razor Shield? Because Brisulph just got 2 in this room, and he's aggressively using them. But unfortunately, he's going to take a little bit of a time penalty because he can't get to the door right there. So CHX is going to take the lead here.
Yeah, about a 255, maybe even a little bit lower than that for CHX going in. Just a little bit over that for Brian. Aquas not too far behind at about a 3-minute going to the room. People are trying to get this finished off, unfortunately not having the orb. So that's just going to be really painful, unfortunately. And because not having the orb, it's going to be hard to even use that Razor as a weapon, because it's just going to disintegrate before you know it. Let's see. It looks like Gunner taken down. It looks like CHX able to get a spreader there, able to maintain. Bri's going to have to do a little dancing. Does have the invulnerability. That's going to help out. Dances very nicely, moving away from that tank shot right there. Still has the Gunner, though. Is able to kind of get this timed up, though. Doing very nicely. Just kind of avoiding that. Staying about left center in the room. And really holding that center nicely. Gets the Razor Shield, and that's going to be able to take out the Gunner now. Very nicely done by Brian.
Yeah, I'm liking his priorities there. He wasn't focusing on that gun turret up there, so he just kind of maneuvered the bullets and stuff from the turrets, and he could get his kill count up and keep it just flowing for this entire room. This is a very, very good room by him.
Yeah, and 2 gunners makes it very tough in that room. 1 gunner, you have the ability to kind of just maintain a side, like Bryce showed right there. But CHX still with the whole shot with rockets and a orb right here. Gonna be able to take out those gunners. Gets more rockets. That's decent damage right now with the double shot. And gonna be looking to get that ball buster. But the lobber is gonna do some nice damage too. Lobbers on Bry's side as well. These guys are gonna be slugging it out for that first popped arm. There it is.
CHX does not get the ball buster, unfortunately, so he's gonna. Did Bry get it? I don't know if I saw him, but it looks like Bry has a player two spreader right there, and he gets run over instantly. But it looks like
Aquas gets the player 2.
Yes, he does. Aquas doing the player 2 strat right there. He's gonna maybe closed the lead a little bit. He is now tied, I think, with the other two, because with the 2-arm pops. Well, now
ignored it. Is able to get another player to will Mutoid Man shake off this? He's able to grab it to the foot.
He's able to get it. He could take the lead here with this exploit. He does take the lead here, but
and Bri's right there though.
Behind.
And Bri just got a spreader himself. Is he able to get on that side?
That's a prime player 1 spot, but it looks like Aquas is going to try to do it. He gets it.
Got it.
Is he going to get enough transfer damage here, though?
Is he going to take it? Transfer damage. Gets the invulnerability too. This is going to be very.
He needs a weapon. He needs a weapon. Oh, he's done it. Aquas gets first place. He's stolen this game from Brisulph. Oh man. What a game by Aquas. What a comeback. Because he was behind Brisulph in this room. That is a very good Mutoid Man.
You gotta say, those player 2 strats came in the clutch for Aquas right there. Got 2 beautiful drops. Got a 3rd drop that would usually be a player 1 spawn. Was able to utilize it still. Gets it done. And just melts Mutoid Man in that last form right there. Is able to just catch up. Very nicely done by Aquas on that one.
Well, good GG's to Aquas. He has dethroned Brisulph and ended his 3-game winning streak for this. I have to wonder though, it's like CHX, he's number 2 on the leaderboard, but it's like, how do you feel when you're him right now? Like, he's definitely capable of winning these games, but he hasn't gotten first place yet. What do you do differently the next few games going forward? I don't know. In his mindset, he's much better than what he's been getting today. So I just wonder if he focuses up. Maybe he'll take first place on this one. But
I don't think you can be too worried. I mean, right now, you take a look at your time. You can only really control your game, right? You know, what you're having to deal with at that time. CHX still puts up a sub 630 right there. I think generally in tournament or something like that, you'd be all right with that time. You're going to take some losses. You're going to take some wins with that kind of time. But that's kind of middling, and especially for these top-tier runners. Yeah, it might be around a minute off your PB, but you can't look at your PB time too much when you're doing single runs of this game. So I think CHX is doing pretty well. Just very clutch utilization of some drops there by Aquas, and just being able to take that. But Bri and Aquas there with that sub 6 minute time, those are beautiful times for runs right there. You can't really it's tough to compete against those times, that's for sure.
Go ahead, get him set up. I think we're just going to go ahead and run with just 5 today. We're taking a little bit of extra time here, so I think we're just going to go ahead and call it after 5. So right now, we have Brisulph already clinched it. He's at 18 points. The others cannot catch him. Behind him is Aquas with 11 right now. And CHX with 10 and Oopla with 7. So Oopla gets first place and CHX gets 4th. He can definitely take the placement over CHX right now.
And hold on a second. We're getting a quick audible from our production team, Mr. Dino, letting us know we can go to 7. We got a little extra time in the schedule, so we will go 7 deep. We have nothing clinched yet.
Oh, absolutely. Then we got a lot more points to go around. So let's go ahead and get them all set up, and we'll go on with game number 5.
And Brisulph putting up in chat right there. Yes, lowest second place time ever in any race. I believe it. I mean, if you're putting up 540s and you're not taking wins, I suppose you could be a little like annoyed and upset about it, but also you're just like, well, that's the way it goes. Like that's tough. Like you put up a 540 in any single run, you're feeling pretty good about yourself. So exactly, not even annoyed. What are you gonna do? That's a beautiful run right there. Aquas really having a hell of a fight against Mutoid Man right there. So very nicely done. That was a great race number 4, and this is awesome. We got 3 more. We got bonus coverage. We got bonus Smash TV, y'all.
All right. So the official rundown for that one, we had 543 from Aquas, 545 from Brisulph, 621 for CHX, and 646 from Oopla. Record that result and wait for everybody ready up, and we'll get going.
So I did pretty well last time. I'm going to go, I'll call for race number 5 here. I believe CHX is going to take one right here. We just talked about, what can you do, that sort of thing. I don't think CHX has done too much that really needs to be adjusted. I think just sticking to it, I see CHX potentially taking this win, get up to 15 points here.
Well, I said Aquas is going to be last. I meant to say first. So if you realize that,
did not catch that one.
No, I said by my diagnostic, I would have Aquas last because I had CHX first, Oopla second, Brisulph third, and Aquas fourth. So I was completely wrong about that one. So I'm going Aquas for this one.
And hey, you know, started, so when you take your hacks, you're gonna miss some. You know, you gotta stay in the box.
Yeah. Yep, but I mean, you bat 300 in the major leagues, you're still pretty good, right? Oh boy. Yeah, definitely still that opens up a lot more for our racers right now. Brisulph needs to get some other than first to kind of make this a little more interesting as far as like him being away from the clinching and stuff. So I'm hoping for our other three that we don't let Brisulph clinch this in 2 more games. It's looking like CHX getting the whole shot right here. About 38 and then 40 for everybody else.
Good luck. You'll need it.
Yeah, you're only going to see a couple second difference maybe between our runners, given, you know, a good clean room and not. But it really comes down to what is this first drop. We got Oopla with the orbs, so sitting a little prettier than the rest. We got some rockets I'm seeing, but yeah, that's really going to help Oopla right now. Really clear out this room. Orb and rockets. Was hoping to use that smart bomb to get the clear. Doesn't quite, but it cleans it up nicely after. And out of there, sub 120. Very nicely done.
That's a very nice time for Oopla, and he really needs it right now to get back in this race. So he's the first one to eat my shrapnel. He's got an orb. It's only him and Brisulph right now. It looks like CHX is just not getting anything right now. And it looks like Aquas is riding rockets and all that stuff. So he's getting the power-ups. He's just not getting the one that matters the most. So CHX definitely, you know, being, you know, very RNG. Oh, and as I say it, as I was trying to say something about not being very good RNG, he gets an orb right then. So does Aquas. So we got all 4 of our racers now with an orb.
Yeah, it's not going to be too common that you won't be able to get an orb by the time you exit this room. It happens from time to time, though, and those are some brutal runs to go through when you're doing these kind of single run, you know, no resets, that sort of thing. If you're to do PB attempts, you might even be just resetting if you go into total carnage here without any orb. But for these runners, they're going to have to deal with it kind of, you know.
Yeah, in a race setting, you definitely want to have an orb before you get to total carnage. And look, oh, very, very unfortunate for Brisulph there, who lost his orb. That's very unorthodox for him to do something like that. It's not very common that he loses it. He's going to be furious in the background with that one. Everybody else holding the center pretty well. Looks like the power-ups are spreaders, and they're, you know, favoring CHX and Oopla right now. The thing about the orb that I like the most, like if you get it before, like there's a certain amount of RNG element to Brisulph getting clubbed there. Oh,
Oopla's going to get first into the bonus room right there. Aquas just behind that. Bri actually getting in third, and yeah, CHX. I mean, Bri might have lost the orb right there. CHX just isn't seeing an orb. Basically, this has been pretty brutal RNG wise. This would be this is few and far between. You usually see an orb by this point. So CHX having to live with it.
And Taco Bell product placement Taco Bell. What I was saying about the orb was there's a certain amount of RNG that's involved in Super Smash TV, but when you have all of our racers with orbs and stuff, there is a certain amount of skill level that kind of goes with having the orb.
And we got we got death on Oopla's side, the orb drop on Aquas' side, having to run around right now, and Bri does have the orb all of a sudden.
What a turn of events for these racers. This is interesting.
I mean, it's what we were saying before, what I was saying before. This tank trouble, it really is, I mean, we're looking at, you know, item drops and total carnage is a little bit of that, but tank trouble really defines some of these runs. You definitely lose runs in this room quite often.
Brisulph getting clubbed down is all of a sudden now first place. He walked in at 4:14, I believe, is what the time was. This is amazing. I mean, obviously, you know, Brisulph gets himself out of jams pretty quickly because he is the best, but that was crazy. The luck was just favoring him, despite how, you know, his total carnage kind of went that game. So
Oopla and Aquas right there at a 420 and a 421, it looked like, going into the room. Able to do some work to the gunners, but yeah, really looking invulnerabilities for Aquas, not seeing it. We got Lobber on Bry's side there. Ooh, CHX finally gets a little break here. Is able to actually get a pretty good spreader. This should do some pretty good damage. Might be able to actually even catch up. Gets another spreader up top. Going to probably manual this one. Yep.
Gets a refill, but I think he was hoping for an invulnerability to spawn. Oh, and another. He's going to take the death. Look at this.
The spreaders are flowing for CHX. CHX has all the ability to be able to make this comeback. Is melting Mutoid Man down.
He has taken the lead. He is one ahead of Brisulph right now.
Pop ahead.
A dead drop for Brisulph. He's got grenades. We're looking for some. The lobbers they're not gonna be enough maybe for CHX right now. But it'll definitely take a good chunk of damage out here.
It's good.
If Brisulph can get that spreader, he can definitely close the gap here and maybe steal this one for CHX.
Nope.
Ooh, a little too late.
Able to do it.
But he'll maybe lock up second place though. Oh, and he takes a death. Oh, Aquas.
Final four are 3 runners. Brisulph dies right there. Doesn't get the lobbers. Has to get another weapon here. Gets grenades. Is that going to be enough? It looks like it just pops. Oh, wow.
Just there. Yeah, Brisulph takes second place. You know, Aquas. He was. I think they were on the same form at the same time. It was just. That's a very close race though by all 4 of our racers.
Absolutely.
CHX getting that sub-6 time of this race. We knew he could do it though. He's really good. So.
CHX closing the gap here. This is coming down to it a little bit here. Bry with a nice another. Still keeping it there. Even without as good of a Mutoid Man fight, still gets second. So Bry looking at 21 points right now total. CHX at 15. Aquas at 13. And Oopla at 8. All right. I mean, I've been pretty decent with this. I've called the last 2 ones. I've been right on the money with them.
And I said Aquas, and he's in 3rd place now. So I'm done predicting. I'm not good at this stuff. So
I like the storyline. I think we see another CHX dub right here to pull up to 20 points. I think we see it. It looks like we'll be getting the next race set up.
Yeah, I'm kind of confirming with them right now. The only one I haven't heard from is Oopla yet.
Perfect. I will be right back.
All right, we are good. So I'm going to go ahead and set the race up, and we will get going. So give me a second to get that all set up, and we'll wait for Tap2J to return. Chunky fingered it again, so I added an extra key to it. So okay, so bonus Super Smash TV for this one. It was planned to be 5, but we're going to 7. Thank you, Mr. Dino, for letting us do that. So it looks like they're all ready. So I'm going to go ahead and count them down or start the race for them. So give us about 20 seconds and we'll be ready to go.
Yeah, exactly, Invictus. We are looking at a 5 points for first, 3 points for second, 2 points for third, and 1 point for fourth format. So the wins are very valuable in this format. Definitely give the ability to pull away and get some ground, or make a nice little gain and catch up, as CHX has been doing with that win. Definitely just one win right there, and makes it quite a bit closer.
So I will predict for this one. I want to give Oopla some love for this one. So I'm going to get him first place today on this one, this race, Game 6. But right now, CHX, he is 6 points behind Brisulph, so he needs to get first place in order to get ahead of Brisulph. So Brisulph is crushing it right now, so he definitely needs to be knocked off that pedestal a little bit. So I want some interesting stuff to happen. So let's stir up the placements a little bit. Let's go Oopla first, CHX second, Aquas third, Brisulph last.
Predicting the whole lineup, that's a tough one. Knowing how Mutoid Man is always going to shift this a bit, we got let's see who's going to get that first orb drop. It's always important right here, and we got it on Aquas' side. Gets it on the far left side right there. He's able to get back to center very nicely. Brisulph having to work through grenade, smart bomb, razor shield, and there's the orb for CHX. That's going to be very valuable. Probably he's going to be using that razor shield pretty offensively as well. Yeah, and nicely done. Yeah, CHX runs that razor shield into a couple enemies, is able to actually get out there just a bit sooner than Aquas. And unfortunately, Aquas losing the orb as well. That's going to hurt.
Oof. Yeah, and kind of in a turn of events, Brisulph was actually last out of that room. That's quite interesting. But without that orb on all the other Oopla's side, Oopla got great power-ups, and he was able to get out there before Brisulph, but he hasn't seen an orb yet. So Aquas gets a replacement. So Oopla is kind of favor the underdogs. There it is. So now we got an even strength race again.
Although Oopla's getting kind of like cornered, getting just not the greatest angles, isn't able to get to that spreader either, but then finally is able to clean it up. I think a little extra time, unfortunately, lost there on Oopla's side. As you had brought up previously, you're going to see that if you let those the shrapnel just kind of get away for a little too long, you're going to lose a little bit of time in that room.
Yep, can't gain time, but you can surely lose it and eat my shrapnel. So
absolutely.
And Oopla just kind of got that orb a little late in the room, so he didn't have full control over it. Because the power-ups were also not doing him any favors. Hopefully, a little better as we go through this run.
Oopla able to get the rockets, able to get that smart bomb, keeps himself, but then grenade on the feet. That's going to make that very tough. All of a sudden, the walls start closing in there. It's going to be a little bit tougher to go in that center, but is able to recover.
Aquas with the razor shield, if he gets a little more aggressive, at the end of the room. So he's the first one into the bonus room at a 3 minutes flat time.
Aquas and CHX just about the same time, about 3 minute 3:01. Bri not too far away at a 3:11 and a 3:14 for Oopla. As we get some product placement with Taco Bell, product placement with Taco Bell.
We got Rockets up Aquas. Ooh,
yeah,
that's a good start for him. CHX not getting the same love, unfortunately. He gets feet. I wonder who's selling him these feet. Is his name Tapatio J? I mean, he gets feet a lot in this room.
It's the shoes,
It's the shoes, And CHX unfortunately loses that orb. This room has just been disastrous for him. He's not getting any power-ups, and he gets a replacement orb, but unfortunately the damage is already done for CHX. He needs rockets or something. Another foot. This game is just being rude right now. And a lot. I am very, very salty now. I'm just watching this, but CHX is just getting screwed completely. There's a nuke. At least it's something that can destroy enemies in the room. Even Oopla has taken the lead over CHX in this room. He's actually taken the lead entirely. And
Oopla started that room with rockets, so had a nice little early jump, was able to utilize and maintain basically that entire room. It ends it with rockets, so they're able to take out those gunners. Aquas just unfortunately wasn't able to dance through. This is going to be very close. Gunners going down on Bri's side as well.
Oopla
There's
gets
the
the ball
spread.
buster.
There's
CHX
the
missed
spread.
the ball buster. There's a spreader for Oopla.
It's a huge spreader for Oopla. This has a chance. Empty drop, unfortunately, for Aquas. Those keys you don't want to see.
What a drop for that. With the spread. Oh, did they get sabotaged by getting a lobber at the feet? I mean, the spreader was kind of out to begin with, but it's like he had spreader plus invulnerability. That is the best combination.
Huge damage, though. We got manual spreader action right here for CHX. Bry, unfortunately, not seeing anything, and yeah, Mutoid's parking on just
grenades.
Does get the grenades, though. Is able to get a little damage. Then gets his spread. This had the chance to make up some time for Bry here. But we got
Rip spreaders. Oopla unfortunately gets run over. He's going to miss that rockets. We need a spreader for Oopla right now. There it is. It's just a little late because he's got invulnerability, but he's going to take a little bit of damage with that one.
Does get it.
The lobber. On the final form for Oopla. Pin ultimate form for CHX and Brisulph. Aquas is on the rib cage. He's going to do a little manuals with that spreader. And Oopla, first place! I called something for once.
All right.
Oopla is going to take first place on this race. Oopla taking the W on this one.
It's going to be close. I think Bry has a little bit of an edge over CHX. CHX does get the lobbers.
CHX was missing some shots there, and unfortunately, Brisulph was a little more precise on that. He's going to take second place, and CHX is going to take third.
Ooh, and very close behind. Aquas is right there.
And Aquas taking fourth place, unfortunately. Let's see. I mean, I only remember Oopla being first place on my prediction, so Brisulph was not fourth. Okay, I said Brisulph fourth. Brisulph was not fourth place, unfortunately. So official rundown with that one. We got 602 for Oopla, 619 for Brisulph, 624 for CHX, and 625 for Aquas. Those are still really close times for a race. Oopla being the one outlier because he, plus 17 seconds between Brisulph. But there was only 6 seconds between Brisulph, CHX, and Aquas. So very good stuff there from these guys.
And with that, Bry will lock it up going into the next round there. That second place, able to get up to 24 points, is going to be enough. Oopla coming back nicely with that 5 points, puts him within striking distance of Aquas. Oopla at 13 points and Aquas at 14 points, and CHX sitting a little bit above them at 17. So second place is still to be decided right now. Definitely still up in the air, depending on this last race.
But the Brisulph is still not going to be out of this race. He's still going to participate, so he can potentially play spoiler to some of these people.
Absolutely, yeah. That would be a shakeup within the middle of this, yeah.
Let's see. CHX, like some certain circumstances would have to happen for him to get out of second place here, because the standings I got 24 for Brisulph, 17 for CHX, 14 for Aquas, and 13 for Oopla. So CHX, if he gets first place or second place, he locks up second. And Oopla can get 5 points and tie CHX, assuming he gets fourth place. And Aquas gets first place, can tie up CHX if he gets, let's see, 5. He gets third place or second place. So it's going to be some interesting stuff. This race has definitely got some stakes on it, so we'll definitely look forward to the result of that one. So I'm going to go ahead and get them started, and we'll finish this one up.
So as we're coming down to it right here, this is the last race of the event. Very awesome. I'm glad we were able to go 7 here. Be sure you stick around for the rest of the third annual GG Speedruns Marathon. I know I will. Right now, I guess upcoming right after this, we have a Rygar No Wrong Warp 4-way race. That should be awesome. I love me some Rygar. That's a great classic right there. Followed up with the Messenger doing the No Out of Bounds 8-bit run. The Messenger, absolutely gorgeous game, whether the 8-bit, the 16-bit, awesome little platformer. And then, yeah, that all levels randomizer, Super Mario 2, gonna love to see that. And a classic for a boy, Mr. Dino, Metroid Dread to finish it off. I'm looking forward to the rest of the event myself. That'll be awesome to catch.
Yeah, I haven't actually finished Metroid Dread yet, so unfortunately I haven't been able to catch any of his runs for that. But
I
you know,
haven't either.
if it's like any of the other Metroid games, though, it's definitely some good fun. Like I personally like the Zero Mission run because there's a lot of like sequence breaking in that one. Metroid Fusion's a little on the rails, but I just genuinely like the atmosphere of that game more than the rest. So I mean, Dread. I mean, eventually I'll catch the run, but it's definitely if it's any other Metroid game, it's definitely going to be fun. So you'll want to see it. I just got to finish it first. So right now we're just waiting for our runners to ready up, and we'll get this underway and finish up strong. Who am I going to call for this one? What's your prediction, Tap DOJ?
You know what? Oh man, I think the back-to-back, and we might see a big. This could be big, depending on how these points shake out. I see it as Oopla going back-to-back, taking another win. And depending on how CHX finishes, that could be very interesting for second place. But I think with the win, Oopla has a good chance at least taking the third right there and kind of jumping in the standings. We'll go Oopla with the win.
Oopla with the win? I think I'm going to have to go with Aquas on this one. I just feel that the two-player strat is going to work for him on this one. He's going to get those Jackmas wedge spreaders, and he's going to tear up the Mutoid Man. So I got Aquas on this one.
And here we go. We are underway. Race number 7 of the event. Let's see how the finale shakes down. See how these guys go. Who gets the whole shot early on? Everybody got some manip, so everybody with the Razor Shield, no mistakes there.
Still kind of sad. Nobody wants to adopt those top door strats that I have pretty much copyrighted and trademarked on my stream. So I'm the only one that does that strat, and it's mine. So nobody wants to ever do them. So we got CHX with a 37. That is a great run time out of the first room. He's got the kill shot, and it's still a good pace by everybody, about 38 for everybody else. So all-important orb. That is not the orb that you want, unfortunately. But Brisulph gets it. The RNG favoring the favorites. Oopla's got rockets on his side, and then Razor and Aquas also has an orb on his side. So still favoring the favorite, but given the Aquas is not the underdog, he's 5th place, so I want Oopla to get the orb next, unfortunately. Everybody needs an orb, though. Of 114 for Brisulph into Eat My Shrapnel right now. What is this pace here?
Absolutely flying. I mean, right now, yeah, you're seeing for everybody. Unfortunately, CHX being kind of given the short straw right there of getting out of there. But we had 3 runners right there out before 120. So folks are flying right now. It's looking
the
good
orb now. So CHX is the only one that doesn't have an orb right now. So interesting that you see that the nuke is on CHX's side. I don't think we've talked about this. So whenever you have a nuke in Eat My Shrapnel, you do not want to grab it because the time that you lose, because it takes about 2 to 3 seconds for another shrapnel to actually appear out a door, and when you halt the spawn rate like that, you actually lose time. So you want to try to avoid it as much as you can and Eat My Shrapnel. So Brisulph out before 2 minutes. He's on dynamite pace right now. In fact, he's on world record pace right now. So hopefully the RNG continues to favor him because we want to see world records, right? In marathon events, you don't get to see those very often, right?
Especially this one. I mean, you're talking about a run that has been whittled down for years with the crazy amount of RNG that goes into it, and you just need things to line up in just the right way. Would be quite insane to see. Don't hold your breath for that sort of situation, folks. But definitely a great pace right now. Obviously, Bri doing what Bri can do with does take the I was actually thinking he was pretty close to the end of the run. It still works out pretty well. A sub 250 going to the secret room, and really Oopla right behind at about a 250, 251. So they're flying right now, dude.
Yeah, Oopla was definitely had a really good total carnage in that segment there. So good job on him. He's not too far. And quickly, Taco Bell, product placement, Taco Bell. Definitely gonna want some rockets. He got some rocket pickups, or no, sorry, he's got a spreader pickup, and then he gets a refill. So he's got a good start to this room right now.
Oopla doing well. Oh, but then
and he takes the death. Oh,
just a hair too soon. Moving in right there, takes the shot from the gunner. That's unfortunate. We'll be able to get back to the center, but needs to see an orb drop. Needs to see some weapon. Maybe a rocket will help, but that's the empty one you don't want to see on Oopla's side. We got
Brisulph almost with that spreader. He was trying to get the spreader, but he kept like juking away from it before he grabbed it. So that does happen. Like 4:02 for Brisulph, so he can definitely get a world record here. He just needs a world record pace, which I believe
but Aquas is right there. Aquas got rockets late in that room, was able to really clear it out. So a low 410-ish for Aquas gonna be right there.
Oopla leafed it, and what we call that is he ran into a mine before he walked out the door. Oh no, that's unfortunate. So CHX has taken third place, and Oopla has fallen a little behind now. So
just a bit.
Really, unfortunately, Brisulph has lost the world record chance, I believe. So maybe the spreader help him. He gets 2 spreaders back to back, right when I say that, but
God, look at that drop. That's a beautiful one. Unfortunately, Aqua's getting grenades. So
is that our first glitch? Is that our first glitch toid? And Brisulph again gets a spreader, but it's in the other side of the arena, so he doesn't get to take advantage of that one.
Yeah, first glitch toid. You are not wrong. We usually will see one of those by this point, and I guess by race number 7, eventually someone gets it. But yeah,
so
quite
gets a spreader here. He is closing the gap, and he's even taking the lead from Brisulph.
Yes.
The spreader's just not being in good enough areas for Brisulph to get full advantage of how many spreaders he's definitely gotten in this room.
Oh my God, Mutoid man just hugging the wall and just didn't let CHX pass. That was brutal.
And a dead drop for CHX. So this is
there's a spreader for Brian.
There's a spreader
for Brian. Melt this final.
He was on the last.
Is he
gonna get the transfer damage?
Yeah,
transfer damage. It's his match to lose. There it is. Yeah, the transfer damage is definitely hot. He had 1 hit on that final form there before, or on the penultimate form before he swapped forms. So that's a lot of transfer damage he got. Yeah, and he's gonna barely get the sub 6, a 5:55. That's a very good time.
It's about as good as you can get right there as far as that end. So nicely done there by Brian. Another sub 6.
All right, so who's gonna win this one? Because we need Oopla to get a placement. Unfortunately, he's not going to get it before Aquas. So Aquas is going to move up to
and that's very close. It looks like Oopla just slightly before CHX here.
But we're going by racetime.gg, so it's whoever done's first at this point. But on our side, it looked like Oopla is out first. So look at the final scores here. Brisulph had clinched after that one, so he obviously is going to win. His final score is 29.
And throwing up the win tag. Yeah, Brisulph will take it with a total of 29 points at the end. Very impressive. We got CHX right behind at 18, Aquas at 17, and Oopla at 15.
So GG's to our racers. That was intense. That's exactly what we were expecting from them. Close races, very low 6 times, even some sub 6s. Like, you couldn't have asked for a better race. I feel like that was, again, we had the best racers we could possibly get for this race. So I'm very happy with what we got today. So, but before we go to the whole introduction or like the closing statements and stuff, we actually have a special announcement as Brisulph has joined us in the chat. So, is he here right now? Yes, he is.
I am here right now. Thank you very much for that great play-by-play, Leaf and Tapatio. Thank you to Mr. Dino and Prince Leaf. A lot of legwork done here to get this set up, and a lot of fun. And just glad I could go out there and get orbs first or second drop almost the whole way, because that just sets the table to just crush your enemies like Conan the Barbarian and hear the lamentations of their women. It's beautiful.
It was certainly a joy to watch, man. You were just crushing it today. Like your Mutoid Mans were sick. Just that one game you went third place. That was the one time I think that the Mutoid Man wasn't cooperating, but you were in there just fire times. Definitely world record opportunities for you every time you went in there. So congratulations on that one.
That's always nice, but we're not here to talk about that because all 4 racers had great games. Everyone had a little bit of a bad race here and there. That's neither here nor there. I'm just here to quickly let you guys know that the video to announce the official fall event went live about 9 minutes ago. The normal team tournament will be starting just after American Thanksgiving, which I think is the 3rd or 4th Thursday in November. You guys would know better than me, being a Canadian. We've already done that. We're more efficient than you guys. But we are going to be doing that. That's on my YouTube channel, same name as my Twitch. Check it out, boys. It's going to be sweet. We'll see who signs up. There will be a little draft element and some captains to be handed out. Just want to let you know that's happening. It's over on my Discord. If you need a link, you can message Prince Leaf or myself or Tapatio or just hit my YouTube. I've got a 7-day invite up there. Come on, and if you want to learn the game, it's great. You only got to run one of the arenas. So if you're coming in as a newbie, you're probably going to get Arena 1, which is the easiest one. Anyway, that's it. That's all. You guys got the sign off. I'm out of here. Enjoy the rest of the marathon and give to charity. Mr. Dino's good people and runs a great channel here. So get that done. All right, boys. See you later.
So you heard him, guys. Whenever you want to learn Super Smash TV, clean slate, please do Arena 2. I mean, Scarface is kind of a dick. But anyways, that's going to do it for us at GG Speedruns. The marathon is going to continue. I hope you guys stick around and watch the rest of the runs today. This has been an absolute blast. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. So, Tapatio J, before I say bye, you got any closing thoughts?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. What an awesome run. Yeah, thank you for allowing us to present it here on the GG Speedruns channel. Kind of been our nice little our home of our tournaments and all these cool events. So if you like to see some more Super Smash TV action, this is pretty much the place to come to right here. Looking forward to more events and hope the rest of the marathon you all are able to stick around. Should be a good one.
Good stuff, Tapatio J. So, as Tapatio J just said, yes, this is the exclusive home for Smash TV. If you enjoyed this presentation here, there's definitely going to be more on this channel. So, this has been Prince Leaf and Tapatio J with signing off from the Super Smash TV on GG Speedruns. Have a good night, everybody.